Welcome back to the unboxing toy reviews, and we are now past the 3/5 mark of these things. Dark times indeed that we are still this far away from Christmas. That's why I'm going to open the Dark Times Imperial Officer from Star Wars Black Series. See what I did there with that segue? Yeah. This one was a Walmart exclusive and was able to order this guy in Canada Land and had him delivered to my doorstep. It is from the Andor, Star Wars Andor series, and I believe it is just like a generic Imperial officer. You got some box art on the side there, yeah, just standard Imperial officer stuff. And his bio, as you can see, is just describing the basic Cliff's Notes plotline of Andor. So yeah, this isn't really a character per se. But, hey, I like me Imperial commanding officers. I mean, it's one of those things where, yeah, these guys are all horrible people. They are all horrible antagonists. They are unquestionably the bad guys in the franchise. I am under no illusions of that. However, I kind of love the bad guys in franchises generally. Yeah, it's always entertaining to see what they do with, evil fascist characters. So, we have this Dark Times Imperial officer here, who is, let's see, yeah, as you can see here, he's got a little bit of a stiff upper lip, or is it a smile on him? It's hard to tell because it's cloaked in this mustache of his. And if we turn off the camera, you can see here that it's just got a lot of shade from the hat. The hat is, in fact, sculpted on. It's not a removable hat. They've done Imperial officers that have removable hats before, which is why I had to check. Posability on this guy, let's see. Posability looks like a fairly standard Star Wars buck, just with the arms and legs, except the big limiter on this guy is his cape. Yeah, he's got this hard plastic cape here, and that is going to limit a lot of stuff. And since Star Wars figures are generally fairly infamous for not having very removable heads, I'll just try that for a sec. Let's see if I can... Yeah, I can see the giant ball joint, but yeah, like generally Star Wars figures... Oh, no, I can get this thing off. Sweet. All right, I take that back. All right, now we can actually pop this cape off. And let's take a look at what's underneath, because it is not glued on or anything as far as I can tell. I mean, I will double check that, but... Oh, maybe it is glued on. Hold on. Is there glue back there, or is it just pegged in? Oh, it looks like this cape is in fact glued on. Okay, so that's a little bit of a negative here. Let's pop the head back on. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very much possible to get a glued parts off. That is straightforward, but I am reviewing toys here. I'm not modding these guys right now. So, let's just take a look at this guy as is. Yeah, we've got the cape that's going to be the big limiter. Like, he's got a fairly standard range of articulation for a Star Wars Black Series figure. I mean, I've opened enough of them over the course of these. But yeah, the big limiter here is he's got this hard plastic cape. Doesn't really have any cuts or anything like that in it. Like, you can move the arms a little bit in here, but it is very much going to limit what you can do with this guy and make him look natural. That is just a consequence of the actual sculpt here. Yeah, similarly, the skirt also limits articulation. Although he does have double jointed knees, they are kind of wasted a bit on this guy. I mean, yeah, he can do decent range of motion here, but again, we are wasting the posability on this figure here. A little bit of a shame, honestly. He does come with a single accessory here. He comes with a blaster. Now, does he have a holster for this blaster? Let's see. It looks like he does not, in fact, have a holster for this blaster. So that's actually yet another ding against this guy. Like, yeah, he is basically... This is a toy where you only really want this figure if you're like me and you like having a shelf of your various Imperial commanding officers and stuff. But, like, he's not even a named character. This is like the guy who was in the Last Jedi 2-pack with Admiral Akbar, whose only redeeming feature really was that he kind of looks like Vladimir Putin. But yeah, like, it's a fairly standard nondescript Dark Times Imperial officer. Again, unless you're a guy who builds out Imperial walls, I can't really say buy this guy. But, I mean, we have an Imperial commanding officer here, so obviously we need some troops for him to command. That's right, it's the Phase 2 Armor Purge Troopers from Obi-Wan Kenobi. Another Walmart exclusive, incidentally. Again, these guys were, ordered online via Walmart's website because I was never going to see these in stores. I think they did actually turn up in stores locally, come to think. I think some people I know found them. But, I just ordered mine online, and that was my plan. So, let's open up this guy here. I actually did get a couple of Purge Troopers. I'm probably not going to open them both on camera. I might take them both out for the final shot. But, again, this is, as far as Star Wars figures go, wow, that's it. Very limited in terms of what he comes with. He just comes with the one rifle. That is, like, usually troopers come with at least 2 guns or something like that. But no, this guy only has the one. Yeah, it's very limiting. Let's see. There's nowhere for the gun to store either. I'm not surprised by that because it is more of a rifle and they don't tend to have storage on those. Let's see. We've got, again, standard double ball jointed head. He does have some butterfly joints in here. Yeah, you can see if you look in there, there is a butterfly joint. So he has that. Shoulders are just part of the, the shoulder armor is just part of the shoulder, but it is actually not glued at the top there. So you can bend the arm up. I believe these are the newer Stormtrooper bucks that allow this. So it's cool there. Only about 90-degree range of motion here in the hand. Wrists have an inwards joint here on the wrist. And the other wrist, does it have an up and down one? Yes, the other wrist has an up and down joint, like the kind that you want for actually shooting a gun. All right, cool. So, again, this is fairly standard articulation for Star Wars. He's got the pauldron up here. It very much is a, I'm pretty sure if you pop the head off, this would very much be a removable pauldron. I'm not going to do that, but it is very loose. Doesn't really hold super well. Leg articulation on these Stormtroopers. Considering the limitations of Stormtrooper armor in terms of actual posability, just looking at, when you look at the cuts in the armor there, decent enough outward motion, considering, again, the armor really blocks doing any more, and that's just the design. He has about, let's see, little over 90 degrees range of motion here. They are single jointed, actually, are they? They are single jointed legs. And then, just the standard ankle rockers that, again, pretty much every Black Series figure has, decent ankle articulation there. We also have a upper torso articulation and no waist on this guy. This is the equivalent of the waist. And what's a really nice touch here is we have the soft goods cape just for the skirt. So, let's just do a quick look up at the helmet here. You can see here, this is the helmet that was featured in the Obi-Wan series there on the Purge Troopers. As I understand it, they had a different design in the Jedi Fallen Order game. And that's why these are Phase 2 armor. Because these are meant to be a newer version of those Purge Troopers. So, it is, again, it is an Imperial generic. That's really about all I can say about that. So, hey, as for the final thoughts, well, I mean, again, it's a fairly bog standard type setup here. Just an Imperial officer and a couple of troopers. I've adjusted just the lighting here on the camera there for the exposure so you can get a better view of just how these guys look. But there really isn't a lot to write home about. Again, this is something that you get if you're like me and you kind of like your bad guys and you like your Imperial troops and want a couple of guys for the shelf just as generics, aside from guys like Tarkin, Veers, Piet, all that sort of stuff. So, again, up to you if you want them. If you're a Star Wars nerd, you'll want them. Otherwise, just pass. They're exclusives anyway, so you're really not going to miss them. But they know what they're doing for exclusives because the people who buy these things are going to be the guys who also buy a bajillion of these things to troop build. So with that said, this is General Techno signing off. Until next day's unboxing.